there, welcome to theclearSkinEssentials.com. I'm Natasha St. Michael, and today I want to share an awesome remedy for dry skin. So if you struggle from like flaky skin, scaly skin, chalky skin, crepey skin, skin that is so dry and just kind of flaking off, and you've tried like body oils and moisturizers and creams and body butters and all this stuff and nothing seems to help, I have an awesome remedy for you, okay? So I recommend trying vegetable glycerin. And this is something I started using about 5 to 6 months ago. So 5 to 6 months ago, I was watching a YouTube video of an esthetician that was talking about using vegetable glycerin as a face mask for dry skin. And I thought, very interesting. I was like, I have a whole bottle of this stuff. I'm not ready to put this on my face, but I would love to try this on my body because I myself was struggling really bad with dry skin. I would say over the course of the past year and a half, since my second daughter was born, I've been having really bad dry skin. Very, very sort of like chalky, scaly, cracked dry skin on my arms, my legs, and nothing seemed to help. And so I was willing to try out the vegetable glycerin to see like would this help, because this is something I've never used on its own. I've used many moisturizers that contain it, and glycerin I've always known about being a humectant. It's kind of similar to like aloe vera or honey or hyaluronic acid, that it draws water or moisture to the skin. It's a great moisturizer. I've never used it though on its own. And I thought, I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment to see if this can help. I have nothing to lose. So pretty much I started using this once a day. I would normally use it in the morning after my morning shower. Sometimes I'd use it in the evening after my evening shower, but most of the time it was the morning. And I found from the first time I used it, it was very different than using something like an oil. So the texture of it is a little bit similar to an oil. It reminds me more of like a dry oil because it's not greasy, it's not oily, it's not like a gel, but it's like a liquid, and it is very softening to the skin. And like an oil, at first when you apply it, it kind of sits on the skin. But one thing it did that I thought was quite different was that it kind of warms up your skin. You'll feel it when you first put it on your skin, that your skin gets a little bit warm. Not like irritated, not like a stinging, burning sensation, but a warm sensation. Plus, when you touch your skin with this on it, your skin feels a little bit damp or moist. And it takes a while to absorb. I would say you have to give it at least like 10, 20 minutes for it to fully absorb into the skin. I would say it takes longer for this to absorb than an oil. But it doesn't transfer, so it won't transfer. Like I never noticed it transferring on my clothes or my linens, none of that. Not like an oil would. So I would use this once a day after my shower. I've tried this both like on damp skin, and also I've tried using this like in the middle of the day on dry skin, and it absorbs a lot faster on dry skin, okay? It absorbs within like minutes, and it also softens your skin. But I find it a lot more hydrating when I actually put it on damp skin. So I would take a shower and then I would just sort of towel off excess water off my body and then apply it to my entire body while it's still damp. And this, within days, like I noticed a difference, definitely noticed a huge difference just in it softening my skin, moisturizing my skin, everything. And the coolest thing though was that after 2 weeks of using this, the skin on my arms started to peel off, and it wasn't like a sunburn peeling. It's kind of like more of like the peeling of if you sit like in a hot bath for like 20 minutes or half an hour, and then you start rubbing your skin, and that buildup off the surface of your skin starts like peeling off. That's exactly what happened with this, and I thought that was interesting because I do a lot of like dry skin brushing. I use like body scrubs. I use all sorts of stuff on my skin to get that layer of like dead skin and build up off the surface of my skin. But obviously I had a pretty like thick layer of dead skin cells and stuff building up on my skin that it came off with this. And what ended up happening is that once that kind of all came off over the course of maybe 2 or 3 days, was all this healthy, hydrated, nourished, balanced skin came to the surface. And I no longer had dry skin after that. So I feel that perhaps I just had like a lot of like buildup of like dead skin that was maybe what was causing me to have such dry skin, and I need to get rid of that in order for the healthy skin to come to the surface. Now, the skin on my legs at the same time also became more and more like hydrated and healthy and no longer like flaky and powdery and chalky looking, but it did not peel. It was only my arms that like had like major peeling. But at the same time, my skin all over my body just became a lot more hydrated and healthy and great. This has been sort of like a miracle product for me, more so than any body oil or moisturizer I've ever used. And I've been using this now over the course of the past, I would say 5 to 6 months. And I no longer use this every day. I use this now, I would say almost maybe like once a week or once every 2 weeks. I really, over time, I just decreased the frequency of use because I just didn't find that I needed it. I didn't need any moisturizer. I found that like it really brought my skin back to balance where it was healthy on its own. I'm no longer relying on a moisturizer like or an oil or the glycerin to make my skin healthy and balanced. It kind of helped it normalize on its own. And I've just been amazed that I had to share with you guys this amazing ingredient. And so one thing I do recommend, because the first month I was using it, I was just using this plain. But after a month, I started experiment with using just a few drops of an oil mixed in with this on my body. And I found that that was even more moisturizing. So if you really, really, really struggle with super dry skin, you might want to just add a few drops of like your favorite body oil to this. Or one type of body oil that I recommend that's really good for dry skin is sweet almond oil. And you just put a few drops. You don't need very much. As you'll see with like this bottle, I've only used like this much over like 5 or 6 months. Normally, if I use like a body oil of this size, I would go through this entire container within 2 to 3 months. And so a little goes a long way. You don't need to use as much as you would an oil. Okay, and then you just add like a few drops of your favorite body oil with that, and it'll be super moisturizing. You only need to use this, I would say, once a day. And as your skin gets healthier and healthier, you can definitely cut back to using it like every other day, and then maybe every 2 days, and then, when you need it. It's an amazing, amazing ingredient. So strongly recommend it. I do want to mention as well that when you get glycerin or vegetable glycerin, it has to be 100% pure vegetable glycerin. Don't get a product that just says glycerin, because it could be a synthetic glycerin. It could be made out of like chemical stuff. There's other ways of making glycerin, and you want to get it from a vegetable source. Okay, so that's what I've tried. That's what I recommend. And I haven't yet tried it on my face. I might experiment with it. I'm curious because it's non-comedogenic. So it's not going to give you acne. It's not going to give you breakouts. I just haven't yet gone around to trying it on my face, but maybe I will. If you guys want me to, maybe I'll do a little experiment with that. But I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a lowdown of the glycerin and something to try out, especially for those of you that are like right now, like in the winter, or you're just living somewhere where the climate is very dry, or you're like dealing with like indoor heating or air conditioning. This is amazing. All right, so if you've tried glycerin, let us know how it worked out for you. I'm curious to know your experience with it. And yeah, I'm wishing everyone a fabulous day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.